Welcome to Record Reflection, a new segment from listenlocalradio.com where we take a deep dive into a new album by a San Diego music maker. This feature is made exclusively for the Scene SD and made possible with support from Listen Local subscribers at patreon.com/listenlocalradio. For as little as $2 a month, you too can help us shine a light on the amazing music being made in America's finest city. Okay, on with the show.
Welcome to Record Reflection, ladies and gentlemen. This is our very first episode, and I have with me the legendary San Diego artist, Darius Degher. Welcome to the show, Darius.
Thank you, Catherine.
I say legendary because it's true. I remember when I was involved in the Homegrown album series, but I'd already known you prior to that. I didn't realize that your roots went all the way back to that time in San Diego.
I think someone said that I'm the only person who's been on two different homegrowns.
Yeah.
Or at least that many years apart.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So.
And you have a brand new album out that we're going to talk about today. And what number album is this? How many albums have you put out?
It's my fifth one that is that's a singer-songwriter album.
Okay.
But I have this MMPS, multiple musical personality syndrome. So I do a bunch of different kinds of things, and so if you count all of the other sorts of things with bands, then I'm on 12 or something like that.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
So this one is called Open Question to the Sky, and it has 10 tracks, and we're going to talk about most of the tracks. I want to talk about every song a little bit, but then we're going to feature a couple clips from maybe 4 or 5 of the songs. I took a listen, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful collection.
Thank you.
And filled with, hope and, but still, discussing the way of the world as it is. First of all, when did you release this?
March. It was on the vernal equinox, March 21st, something like that, or 20th.
And did you release this on a CD or
no,
vinyl, or how did you?
No physical anything.
Yeah.
I hate to say, because we all love the vinyl and the CDs, but for me it doesn't make any economic sense anymore. Nobody buys them, and so I just thought let's do like the kids.
I was just going to say it's how the kids are doing it.
I have 2 daughters.
Yes,
singer-songwriter daughters, Cleopatra and Cordelia.
Extremely talented ladies.
And so they keep me kind of in with the kind of contemporary way of looking at this stuff.
You're so lucky to have that. And where did you record this?
I recorded it at a studio called Little Parthenon Studio.
Okay.
That's my home studio.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't think I've heard of that.
It's my home studio, and it's a very modest little Pro Tools studio. Nothing at all fancy.
It sounds amazing. Yeah, the production is brilliant. There were a couple times when I was trying to figure out what instrument is that, and so I wanted to ask you what instrumentation you used.
Well, I mean, the heart of the thing is me with the acoustic guitar, finger picking. I've never made an album where I finger picked everything.
It was beautiful, yes.
And so there's that, and finger picking has kind of its own. I mean, if you do it right, you can kind of orchestrate. It has its own orchestration.
Absolutely.
In a way, just finger picking. But so I went into it thinking I'm just gonna do it with me, with the guitar and the vocal and nothing else. And I went so far as to tell myself we're not even gonna have any harmony vocals, which there aren't, which is unusual for me. But
yeah, now that I think about it, there were no harmonies.
That's because I was just thinking I'm gonna go as simple and direct as possible.
Okay.
But I couldn't actually pull it off. So then I thought, I want to try a little bass on this one. Pretty soon there was bass on everything.
Yes.
And then I overdubbed some other things too, mandolin and sitar in one song.
Yeah, I thought that was sitar.
Yeah, and there's some little samples too, so I put in some pads of various types.
Of course.
So that's pretty much the instrumentation. It's a one-man show.
Before we start talking about the songs, a few other questions. The cover art, is that something that you did, or?
Well, that's not something that I'm at liberty to talk about. No, no, it's something that one is embarrassed to talk about these days. That's that's AI, DALI 2.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
it's the digital wackiness.
Interesting that you're
Yeah.
using the AI.
I have a friend, Abraham Cloud, an old musical compadre, and he does it all the time. And
Okay.
he was just, so he kind of suggested I test it out. I know, and then I came away thinking, God, how can you not love it? Because it's, it's the devil and all that, but it's kind of like Spotify and Amazon.
Yeah.
It's the devil, but
But it sure makes life easy.
it makes life easy, and it comes out you come out with cool stuff. You put in those prompts. I don't know if you've ever done it.
I have not.
You
Not because I'm so against it. I just don't know how to use it.
you give it prompts.
Okay.
And it takes a while to figure out what kind of prompts
Right.
will work. And so if you give it really detailed prompts, then it can come back. It'll spit out some things, and maybe you don't like them, but you tell it, okay, not quite like that, but add a puppy dog in the corner.
So yeah, I watched the video that you made to Open Question to the Sky, and that was the same sort of artwork.
All of those
Yeah,
images
okay.
were AI generated images, which is kind of interesting because there's a lyric in the song that asks, "Will AI kill us off?"
I know, yeah. Right.
So there's a little bit of irony.
Yes, indeed. And so, where can folks buy this collection?
It can be streamed. You can buy it on Bandcamp and SoundCloud.
Yep.
But I don't know. I expect people just to stream it.
Sure.
And for me to get my 1/100th of a cent per per stream.
Right.
I'm getting rich already, Catherine. It's
tens of dollars.
The tens of dollars are just rolling in.
Indeed. And then, do you have plans to, tour locally or in support of this collection, or?
Now, as far as the promotion, I wasn't really imagining that I would do very much at all, except send it out to press.
Yeah.
And there was an article about it and me in the Reader when it came out, and now there's a review in the Troubadour, which was a very nice review by
great review.
Wayne Riker.
Yes.
Thank you, Wayne. And Liz, I appreciate being reviewed. So
yeah.
I was thinking about press more than anything else. But I did play at the Belly Up a couple of days ago with Cindy Lee and Cindy Lee Berryhill. Cheers to you, Cindy Lee.
Yay, Cindy.
And Joey Harris and Nina Anderson. That was
what a crew.
That was a nice gig. So, and I'm going to play in a couple of weeks at a thing. So, I'm going to do the odd gig.
Yeah.
To let people know about it, but it wasn't like a properly concerted effort because I'm basically very lazy about the whole thing, and I really like making the records a lot more than anything else.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the rest of it sometimes is not as fulfilling as the actual making of the thing.
For me, I like writing the songs is the number one.
Yeah.
Number one joy.
Yeah.
That I get the most from, and making the album is the next thing. Playing live, I like doing that too, but I like playing live when the monitoring is really good.
Yeah.
When like that show we did the other night at the Belly Up,
right.
seated show.
Right.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've played at a lot of places in my long career. I played at Passim in Boston, the folk club, and I've played at the Troubadour and CBGB and the Whiskey A Go Go and all kinds of places. So I don't know. I don't mean I have a hard time now if it's not.
Yeah.
If it's just going to be like in a restaurant or something, I tend to be like.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like doing it. I like doing it, but I know I'm gonna like doing it less than.
Totally understand. 100%. Okay, let's talk about the songs. I made little notes and just bullet points, and so we'll go down the list. The first song, This Is It. I have written hopeful, positive, beautiful melody, and your perspective gave me hope. And I don't have a favorite, but if I did, I think this would be my favorite.
Okay, This Is It.
Yeah. Tell me about that song.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I appreciate you using the word hope in regard to this album and these songs, because for much of my career I've been accused of being overly dark and hopeless. So I think I did find a different kind of an angle, or I'm at a different place in my life right now, and I think there is more hope. Despite what's happening in the world, I think maybe it's just like I think I became a proper older person now.
Yeah.
And I sort of feel a little bit like an elder or something, you know? So I wanted to...
That's kind of what it felt like. It was almost like your message to everybody, like, you've seen it all and don't give up because it's not hopeless. I mean, that's really the takeaway I got.
I'm glad.
From that song especially, but also from the whole album.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, that song specifically is... I mean, I've also been, doing Zen meditation practice for 25 years.
Yeah.
And, that's all about experiencing what you're experiencing at the time.
Right.
Being alive in the moment. I mean, I would use the word mindful, except that it's become such a buzzy thing, mindfulness, that I, even though that term comes out of Zen Buddhism and that whole way of looking at life and living, I'm not using that word. Oops, I just did. But it's just about being alive right now and being aware of it.
Let's listen to a little bit of This Is It right now.
There may be days to come, but living in them makes me numb. Just like the old days, they've lost their meaning. I'm not here to testify, nothing left to justify. I hear the dogs bark, let them go. I am here right now. It's looking fine from where I sit. I'm breathing in the day, and the puzzle pieces fit. I am here right now. This is it.
Okay, that was just a short clip of that song. You have to hear the full thing, which you can do, as Darius said, stream it, find it anywhere. Good News was next up, and my dad always loved the songs that had the speak singing, and he always wanted me to do that, and I tried, and it's really difficult to do, and you nail it in this parts of the verses where you're doing that speak singing. This is, to me, I love the mandolin on it. Again, that positive perspective while still calling out the bullshit. And absolutely what a weird place this world is at. And yeah, tell me about that song.
You know, that song I was inspired by, and maybe I shouldn't say directly inspired by, but maybe it was by a book called Factfulness, written by a guy named Hans Rosling, this Swedish demographer. It's a fantastic book, which I recommend to anybody who wants to feel better about the state of the world, because he just lists facts, basically. It says, these are the facts. You know, in 100 years ago, there were this many people dying from cancer, and now there are this many dying from cancer. There were this many people getting killed in wars then, and now there are this many people annually. And there's just all these facts that basically argue that life has just been gradually getting better and better and better and better and better. And so we're just a bunch of whiny wankers the way we talk about it,
Right.
me included.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, it's easy to get to feel that way. We're going to play a little bit
because
of...
the media is behind a lot of it, you know, and the lyric in the song says, there's good news, but it don't sell soap.
Right.
You know, if it's not making money for the media, then you're less likely to hear it. And the negative news is what generates the money.
Right.
400 million guns in the USA, and we're shocked when we hear there are mass murders every day. It's a new arms race, but we got the old one too. Hey, you make those weapons, they're gonna get used. But LA skies are somehow clear, and cancer deaths going down each year. The ozone layer's made a real comeback. We're living longer, and that's a fact. There's good news, but it don't sell soap. The screens are off, and I feel the hope. What a place this world is at. There's good news too, but you don't hear about that. I want to hear about that. Will there come a day they solve the mysteries of space? Science scratches at the surface, and I'm glad they're on the case. But was there a big bang or something that preceded that? We've counted up the galaxies, now where does that leave us at? Don't bother asking why, it's just an open question to the sky. Do we really need an answer? I gotta know, is curiosity an ill? Seems the human mind defeats itself sometimes. The human will just cannot be still.
All right, that was a little bit of good news, and also we segued into Open Question to the Sky, the title track of this album. My notes on that: haunting melody, captures the hopelessness and the ridiculousness of it all. Do we really need an answer to those questions? Are those who seek answers more susceptible to strife and suffering? Or are those people the reason we keep advancing and evolving? That was my takeaway. Don't bother asking why. Really amazing song, and the video, again, I loved it with all of your artwork corresponding to it. So why did you make that song the title track?
I guess in a way, it wasn't going to be the title of the album originally. And interestingly, you asked about the artwork. The artwork came from what the original title of the album, which was going to be Songs to the Intermolecular Angels.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of interested in this idea that, I mean, if there is something religious happening in the world, it's at the molecular level, I figure. And meaning inside atoms and molecules.
Right.
And I mean, that's where we're all bound together. That's right. Where we're one thing. When people have religious experiences, you know, they always go, I could see that we're all one. Everything is one. If that is a thing, it's at the molecular level. And so I thought songs to the molecular angels. But then I kind of decided that's just, people are going to think that's too out there. But I had the art from it.
Right.
So then I went back to Open Question to the Sky, which also felt like it's a kind of a kind of encompassing sort of an idea that would be a good album title.
Yeah, I'd love that title. Absolutely. All right. We skipped over music of our days, but not for any reason. We just don't have time to listen to everything. But my notes for that were this was the sounds of our life, that music is everywhere, and finding melody in the mundane is really the sweetest thing of all. And yeah, I love that song.
Thank you so much. Yeah, our little doggy gets mentioned in it a couple of times, Zeus.
Yeah.
But we just learned that Zeus has cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we're dealing with figuring out how to deal with that. It's always hard.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry. The Myth That You Become is after Open Question for the Sky, another song with a beautiful melody, the dynamics and the poetry, and that's the one that has the sitar?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
wonderful.
it is.
Wonderful song.
Well, thank you so much.
And we're going to hear a clip now from the next track, which is Another Day in History. Check this out.
Actors on the picket lines, writers back in the studio mines. Florida is banning books. AI is complicating things. TikTok keeps producing kings. The crypto game is full of crooks. The Ukrainians are still engaged, even though they've been upstage. A crisis in teen mental health. Children with an empty stare, missiles flying everywhere. The 1% are building wealth. As crazy as it seems, the laughter and the screams, I think that it might be just another day in history.
That was a little bit of Another Day in History of Darius Degher's new album, Open Question to the Sky. Another note on here from me, that this is kind of the time capsule of our lives. It's a haunting melody again. And yes, it does seem crazy when you hear our life and times listed like that in such a bittersweet and beautiful way.
Thank you.
It reminds me that all throughout history, humans have always faced challenges and challenging times, and here we are again.
Yeah.
But why? Why do we? That's my question.
I think that's just life.
Yeah. Tell me about that song.
Well, I think you understand it the way I hoped it would be understood. But also it's related to the media. That we're all kind of freaking out, looking at what's going on in the world and thinking, and I hear young people say this all the time. This is, the world has never been this bad. It's just terrible, everything that's happening. So my take on that song was that, well, it's a kind of a question. Is that really true? Or is this just another day in history that they've all been like this? If you had been able to, at any point in the last couple of hundred years, if you had cameras all over the world that were photographing all of the catastrophes happening every second, then it would look a lot like it looks at this day or tomorrow. So the idea was that every day is a day in history. They're all complicated. They're all beautiful. And they're all painful for some people too.
Right.
So that was my idea with that one.
You're weighing up what's most and least. Seems things are either famine or feast. It's so bad, but you can't look away. taking in what the talking heads say. But there's no race and you're not behind, just confused by your monkey mind. Life's so hard, you say it's gotta be the times. All you can get are the nickels and dimes, and even those are falling out of reach. Then you miss what the wise ones teach. You can see that there's a truth to find, but it's obscured by your monkey mind.
Monkey Mind, what a beautiful melody, important message, because it's easy to get lost and buried in our own struggles and to drown in the noise of the world. It's another great reminder to look around at your life from a different perspective. That line, baffled by the laws of cause and effect, were one of the lines that just, every once in a while, a line just grabs me, and that certainly was one.
Cool. You know, what I was thinking, again, this is my kind of Zen practice bleeding through.
Yeah.
But, we talk a lot about karma in the Western world, and in pop culture, we're always talking about instant karma. Oh, you're in bad karma. In Buddhism, and I'm not really a Buddhist, but, if I am, I kind of am. I don't know. But karma is simply cause and effect.
Right.
Yep. Not that something is going to come back to you. You bit someone on the arm, you're going to have someone who's going to bite you on the arm, but that the things that you do, that you cause, they create a ripple that's going to reverberate and ultimately perhaps come back in some way to you. So it's cause and effect in a kind of scientific way,
Right. Absolutely.
In physics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking about.
And monkey mind, I mean, just the phrase itself. I mean, I've heard lizard brain, obviously, but yeah, monkey mind, I hadn't really.
That's not that's not something that I came up with. Okay. That also comes out of Zen.
Okay.
Because in Zen, they talk about the Zen teachers, and this goes back for 2,000 years or however long they've been doing it. They talk about a universal mind, Buddha mind. Universal mind is like, they call it original mind, universal mind, Buddha mind, the mind that we're born with when we have a purity of the way we think. And monkey mind, on the other hand, is the mind that's the chattering of bullshit that just goes on all day long, like, about cleaning the kitchen and remembering to make phone calls and things that you forgot or you regret, or that you maybe feel good about, but it's all just the whole time. And that's the whole goal of Zen meditation is to stop that chatter. So monkey mind refers to that chattering.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We didn't hear a clip of Butterflies again, but that song is just, again, hopeful and cool chord changes. I loved those. And to look for and appreciate the simple things, the atheist amen was just, that spoke to me, absolutely. I was like, yes, I feel that 100%. And it's another reminder that what you're feeling now is not how you're always going to feel. And sometimes you forget that.
Right. So true.
Easily to forget. And so what a wonderful reminder.
I mean, it's about depression, really, that song,
absolutely.
And how we come out of it and then things look completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. The many shades of you, these lyrics were so, so beautiful. I feel like, I love people like that person in the song, and I know people like that. Was this written about anyone specific, or?
It's a kind of a conglomeration of people that I've known.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, only art to me, kind of that same thing as I was listening to it, I was wondering if you were writing about yourself, different people of yourself, or the different people that you've known in your life.
People that I've known,
Yeah.
but one of those verses is about my
I
childhood self.
thought, yeah,
Yeah,
the
with
corduroys and
Yeah.
it's such a visual. The images are so beautiful.
always
visual.
wore corduroys, sidewalk surfing all day.
Yeah.
That was something from my own childhood. But it's about these memories that we have that, for artists, I mean, if you're not an artist, it's a memory. If you're an artist, it's something that we use to turn into art.
Absolutely.
So the singing about, like, the woman in the first verse, she was a person, she's flesh and blood, and now she's part of the song
Art
or a story, right?
Inspired, that. I loved it. Let's hear a little of that song right now.
She was a redhead. Her sister was a deadhead. She lived by astrology, would spend Aquarius money. Oh, the days we had, it was like a roller coaster. She was flesh and blood, now she's only art to me. She was flesh and blood, now she's only art to me. He was my best friend, with me till the very end, my rambling companion. We would howl in the canyon. Oh, the days we had, it was such a timeless story. He was flesh and blood, now he's only art to me. He was flesh and blood, now he's only art to me.
All right, that was Only Art to Me, just a clip of that beautiful song. That is the final song on the 10-track collection called Open Letter to the Sky by Darius Degher. I highly recommend you stream it, download it, enjoy it. He's giving it away for free. I mean, that's crazy, but that's what we do. And listen to it and then let him know what you think. That's what this is all about, to shine a light on all the hard work that we artists put into to our music, and to just get some feedback and share it with everybody. And I hope that hearing these clips will inspire you to go and listen to the entire album, which you can do again at...
You can do it anywhere, basically, anywhere that you stream music, or you can download it at Bandcamp and SoundCloud. But wherever you stream, you can YouTube, Amazon, Spotify, and yes, it's the devil's work, but the music is there.
That's right.
Along with the devil.
It's beautiful. You're gonna love it. And so, when are you playing next? In July, anytime?
Yeah, I'm going to play on July 13th at. It's the grand opening of this kind of cool thing they've done in Leucadia. That's it's an agri-hood. It's a development that's an agricultural residential development.
I love that.
It's super cool. They've got farm there with a farm-to-table restaurant and a brewery, but they also are selling and renting apartments and condos and such.
Yeah.
So this is a grand opening for that. Cordelia, my daughter Cordelia, is also going to be playing at that. We're both going to do sets along with some other people.
Cool.
Oh, the name of that place is Fox Point Farms. Yeah. Yes.
Fox Point
Fox
Farms,
Point
in
Farms
Leucadia.
in Leucadia.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But while you're searching around for Darius's music, make sure you take a deep dive, because his music goes back in San Diego almost 40 years. Dare I say that?
Yeah, it goes back a long way. And,
Yeah.
and I should say something else. If you are interested in taking that deep dive, which I encourage you to do if you have the hours, but it's not always that easy to find my stuff online, because I did my first couple of albums under just the name Darius, my first couple of singer-songwriter albums. And now there are all of these Darii. So and when I realized there were, 400 other Dariuses out there,
Yeah.
that's when I started using, I said, I better start using my actual full name.
Sure.
And so Spotify, for example, and I think Apple Music as well, they haven't figured that they will not let me put all of those on the same page. So you have to search for those separately as Darius with an album title, or under my full name, Darius Degher.
Gotcha.
And then there are bands, I did this project with my daughters, Stark Shea, which was just nominated for a San Diego Music Award.
Right.
And that's a separate thing. And then I had this band, the Sham Saints, that we did a few years ago.
Right.
And there was Burning Bridges, my band in Sweden. Lived in Sweden for a dozen years as well. And then Darius and the Magnets back in the,
oh my gosh,
if you want to go way back.
That's the way back for sure.
Prehistoric times.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Darius. And thank you to the Scene SD for giving us some time in their magazine to share the Record Reflection series that Listen Local is now endeavoring to put out once a month. And this will also go to my Patreon folks at patreon.com/listenlocalradio. So thank you all for making that possible. And thank you again, Darius.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you.
All right. That's it. We did it.
Fabulous.